Hello Giants fans. It's another very bad day today. All I can really say is that we're running out of time. These things continue, it's just time's running out every day. Every single day that goes by is a day closer to the end of the season. And recently we have seen some good come out of the Giants, but it keeps on, it keeps on getting canceled out by a slide. So if it continues this way, they win some games, and it gets canceled out by a losing slide, it's just not going to be enough. Now, does anyone have any idea of what kind of money Alex Wood is making right now? Well, his salary as of 2022 is $12.5 million. That's by no means the highest salary in Major League Baseball, but it is too much for the way Alex Wood is pitching right now. You know, you could have said the same thing about Madison Bumgarner even, like in the 2018 and first half of 2019 seasons when he was with the Giants. That's pretty close to the amount he was making those years. And looking at it, you just have to say, okay, Bumgarner's not pitching well enough for the amount of money that he's making. And Alex Wood was not a Giant for nearly as long as Bumgarner, only since, well, through last year he was a Giant, and he had a really good stretch in 2021. It was a really good year, so you can see why the front office thought he was a good free agent signing, but he just does not seem to have it this year, and he is not pitching well enough for the amount of money the Giants are paying him. And it's really costing the Giants. He gave up 8 runs in 3 innings today. So it's getting serious. The bullpen pitched pretty well, but bottom of the 8th inning, they brought in catcher Austin Wynns to pitch. Usually tells you something really bad when a position player has to pitch, but you might as well save the bullpen. Wynns pitched an inning and gave up 1 run, so the Giants just knew as when it got to the 8th inning, that was the end of that for them. But Alex Wood is being overpaid right now and is not showing ability to perform the way the Giants would have thought that he would. And they weren't aggressive enough in free agency. Re-signing Alex Wood while letting Kevin Gausman. Got a little mixed up. They signed Carlos Rodon, they let Kevin Gausman go. I think they could have done a bit more, because if you sign a lot of good free agents, then some of them are going to turn out to be good in your season, but if they take the approach they really took in the 2021 and beginning of 2022 offseason, it makes it bad when free agent signings don't turn out, right? If you've done a few of them. And Carlos Rodon turned out definitely in the rotation. He's pitching very well. But Alex Wood hasn't turned out this year. And it's not that he's been horrible either. It's just that he's been costing the Giants because he hasn't been good enough to be able to win games. That's the thing. Sometimes a mediocre performance even is just not good enough. And it's not good enough for the whole team to be performing that way, because it's another game where basically they couldn't score. And would it have mattered if they had, that isn't really the point. Probably not. Say they had scored 6 runs. Well, the Twins scored 9, so would it have mattered? I don't think that was the issue, but it still should be noted that the Giants weren't able to get anything going, and they certainly not early in the game. It just seems like past couple of games, it just seems like early in the game is the time for the Giants to jump on it, and that if they don't, the other team will, and they'll end up beating them. So that's what I'm thinking when I see these games. It's like Giants have a chance to jump on it, then it just gets out of hand. So it could be the hitting, the pitching, everything that you really look at this way. But it's just, I'm not being unkind to Alex Wood. I'm just saying this year is not good enough for him, and that's a big problem. So this is a 2-game losing streak for the Giants. I guess it basically offsets the 2-game winning streak that got them up to 500. So this is a really bad situation. So you're probably wanting to know. I'm just going to have it out. You're probably, I don't know if you're the kind of person who wants to hear whatever they're watching about the Giants. What are their playoff odds? Like, do we have a chance of going anywhere? So if you're watching this and you're thinking, when's he going to talk about that? I'm going to have it out. A playoff spot is just unlikely for the Giants this year. The way they're playing, in a hot streak would make it incredibly likely. Could a hot streak change things like they've had this year? They've had hot streaks. Absolutely, a hot streak could change things. But as it stands, the way they're playing, and Logan Webb did contribute to this by having 2 just unexplainable bad starts. The second one especially was unexplainable. The way they're playing now, and the way they're at least 2 games below 500, I think they're 60 and 62 right now. A playoff spot, I've got to hand it to you and be honest, it is unlikely. However, unlikely things have happened in baseball. We're going to keep watching this team, and we're going to see if there's anything they can do here. So basically what I'm saying is, as long as there's a chance, I want to see them play. I want to see them try to play for a playoff spot here. But it is getting unlikely, so what I'm really saying is that this offseason, it needs to be better for the Giants, and that they can't rely on the kind of rosters that they kind of have a history of relying on. This offseason, it has to be better. It's the free agent market that can change the team. So, and add to this the fact that this year started out a really good one for the Giants, where it looked like they were going to be in the playoffs for sure. It's bad, it's inexcusable, and it's just really what happened to them is just an unacceptable way to play baseball. They should have been in it. 2022 should have been a year of contention for them. They should have come close to making the playoffs this year. And it's not over. They still could do it. It's just looking like they're not demonstrating that they have the stuff. So I just don't know. I don't really know what to say. And they did have that 5-game winning streak. So I would say probably the best thing for us to do is hope that they start tomorrow and have this big hot streak. I mean, what else can I say? They didn't do what they needed to last offseason. They didn't do what they needed to at the trade deadline. Some of the players who need to be better for them, well, I don't want to get too general on something that's kind of specific, but just a lot of the so-called talent on their team that it needs to be better, and it's not. And that goes, you know what, I think it's okay to say that generally, because that goes for the bullpen too. We talked about this pitching out of jams thing, that it doesn't happen. A lot of that just needs to be better. It's not. And basically, all in all, a lot of the players we kind of have to count on here aren't performing at maximum levels, and the pitching, we're not getting the pitching that we really need. Like, Logan Webb is kind of not performing right, and it's hard to get an answer for it. I mean, he might throw a shutout his next start. I'm not saying this is going to become a long slump for him. I'm just saying it happened at a bad time. A really bad time, Logan Webb's thing that he fell into. So a lot of things are going wrong. The trade deadline, they didn't do a thing they needed to do to build on this roster. So I don't know. It's just not a good spot, not a good situation. There may be some potential in this roster to get hot. It's hard. Like, we don't. I'm just not really armed with a reason I can give for thinking that that's going to happen, but you know, if it does, they could get back into this. It's just things are going wrong, and basically they need to go right for the Giants. And they can say all they want that they need to play better baseball, but there's a right way and a wrong way to play baseball, and basically it's got to happen. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you have not. Also, what I want you to do is to comment or to email me at gabrielvaughn89@gmail.com. Thank you. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.